It is our weekly catch-up with Mike Broomhead. Today's talk with Mike is kind of like a serious one, and I know Mike and I off camera have always had these talks, and I wanted to bring it to TV, especially in this wake of it's politician time, it's convention time. Last week was the Democratic convention. We talked a little about that. I've been watching this week, the RNC, and I'm sorry, Mike, I'm getting choked up here. You and I here sitting alike a little. We got the same shirts on, stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm hearing a different message this week at the RNC. I'm sorry, I'm going to say it. I don't care about money. I don't care how much we've done, everything. Race relations right now is something that we are hurting in this country.
I agree.
We have a young kid, 17-year-old, took it upon himself to go to a protest and shoot people.
Well, he didn't just shoot people. I mean, he got attacked and shot back. But let me explain.
Come on, Mike, come on. He literally went out with a gun into a group of people.
There were a lot of people out there with guns, and I don't think he should have been there. The kid should not have been there. He's 17 years old. He shouldn't have been there with a rifle. He had no business there. None whatsoever. What parent lets their 17-year-old walk into a crowd like that with a gun?
And he wasn't even from that area.
No,
he wasn't.
He
was from a whole different area.
He shouldn't have been there. But he also shouldn't have been attacked. I'm not making excuses. You bring a gun in that situation, you are setting yourself up for murder charges. So I'm not making excuses, but he didn't just start shooting. And there is not equal blame here. This kid should not have been there. But when he was getting attacked and beat up, he started shooting like a 17-year-old idiot with a gun would do. And there's no excuse for it except he shouldn't have been there in the first place. But if you watch the video, when he's shooting that gun, he had been pummeled a couple of times and he got scared. His life is irreparably changed. That kid is going to jail. There's no doubt about it. But I don't understand why his parents would let him go there. I don't get it.
I don't understand either. Let's talk about him walking down the street with a gun and them telling him, like, that guy just shot somebody and the police officer gave him water. He got to go home. I mean, what is that showing, like, with something like that where a kid is walking down?
So I didn't see that part of the video. I didn't see the part with the water. I didn't see that. You get a 17-year-old kid, and whoever is advising him, whoever he's looking up to, and he thinks he's protecting private property because the cops won't. He's a 17-year-old kid. Now, I don't think he did the right thing. I think he is going to pay a huge price, and someone should be talking to his parents and ask them how that kid got there, what he was doing with an AR-15 or whatever the rifle was he was carrying. He shouldn't have been there. The only issue I take with this is he got attacked in the street, and there is a little bit of why would you attack somebody with a gun? You know they're going to shoot you. That's my only concern. I'm not blaming the other side. This kid is going to be in a lot of trouble, and he's going to be in a lot of trouble because as a 17-year-old kid, he made a horrible decision, and people lost their lives. There's no excuse for it. So I'm on your side more than you think in how we started this conversation.
Right.
But what was he doing there in the first place?
Yeah.
You know, a 17-year-old kid, why was he there?
Yeah. All right, so let's go to the people that want us to vote for them, that he wants another 4 years, and not one of the people this week talked about mending race relations. They kept on bashing, they kept on saying how great the economy is, how he's done this, how the world's gonna end if we vote the wrong way. I'm tired of both sides saying that. This world's supposed to end if we vote. I agree.
The only thing I think is unfair about that criticism is, and I am tone deaf because you know we're maybe a little bit opposite politically. I am on the right side of the aisle politically. My side of the aisle all week kept saying not one time during the DNC did they denounce the violence in any of these cities. And that doesn't mean they condone it. I never said that. At the same time, the agenda of the RNC and the people that they're catering to right now and the voters that they are chasing, they have a message and they stayed on message. I certainly don't think, and I liked Mike Pence's speech, I don't think that the Vice President of the United States or any of those people don't care about race relations in this country. I don't feel that way. But at the same time, I understand when someone says you didn't mention it once, how can you care if you don't mention it? Does that make sense?
That does. It does make sense. And you're trying to win that vote. You're trying to bring people to that side. And that's like a topic that is really bubbling up in this country.
So from the right side of the aisle, the message was, you didn't denounce any of this violence one time. So if somebody said, well, then you guys must not care about the violence in the streets, that's such a silly connection to make, but that same message is out there on the right, which is they didn't denounce the violence because they don't care.
All right. I understand that. So let's go to the other fact here, and I know we're coming to our little time here. And if you do want to, you can go over to our YouTube page. We'll have more of this going on. But I want to bring up the topic of people defecting back and forth. Is this kind of like showing us that really there is no party anymore? It's your side. It's not your side, but it's just where if you're a Republican, you're a Republican. If you're a Democrat, you're a Democrat. But now we're seeing people trade sides during election time.
I think this year it's one of those times where it's become a thing. So when you have a guy like Jeff Flake, who was a senator, Jim Colby, who was a congressman, Cindy McCain, and they show support for the Democrat. Now the Republicans have to show people on the other side. There's been a movement called the walkaway movement, and it's Democrats that have left the party feeling like the party's left them. But if you think about it, there have been Democrats for Bush. There were Republicans for Obama. This has always happened. I just think it's been more of a focus. I think part of it's mutual respect. I know when you and I have conversations that we come from different perspectives, and a lot of times we disagree, but I've never felt disrespected by you. I've never felt like you say to me, if you support this president, you're this or you're that. And if people had a one-on-one conversation, they would figure out we all want what's best. We might have different ways to get there. More people need to talk like you and I do, starting with a friendship and mutual respect.
Right.
And then in the end, we can make our decision on who we think is best to lead this country and not feel like we're traitors if we don't agree on things.
Yeah.
I hate political season for that. I do.
It does. It pushes people away because I think what they do is they listen and not read or talk. And they're hearing all the, and I have to say, I mean, I hate to bash our news programs and stuff, but I think they're starting just to do TikToks. That's 15 seconds of a highlight and not really explain. It's to grab people's attention, and I think we're losing people who are trying to figure what's going on here in this country.
And when you and I have conversations, we come from a place of respect that other people don't have because they don't have an established relationship. So we make this assumption about people until they convince us otherwise. And if we could drop our guard a little bit, the best advice I ever got in learning how to interview people, and you know, quite honestly, to watch you interview people, it's fun to watch because there's a difference between talking or listening and waiting to talk. And too many people are waiting to talk. You start talking to me about politics, I'm not listening to you. I'm waiting for you to take a breath so that I can jump back in your face. If we would listen a little bit, we'd understand you're as heartbroken about the same things as I am, just from a different perspective. And even if we don't agree, we could still be a part of a solution just by not breaking our relationship.
Yeah. And that's what it's all about, and that's why we have these talks each week.
But we have them off the air. We have them in the office, which I like. I mean, I know you challenge me. You make me think. You make me defend my position, which makes me better at my position because I have to think through not what I believe, but why I believe it.
And I like that you make me, of course, listen. And it makes me also want to make sure that I am communicating the right way of what I'm feeling. Just like right now, you know, we're communicating, and that's what the whole thing is. And I think you communicate back to me. I think we both sit after, you know, the cameras are gone. That's what's so important. We don't do this just for the show. We do it to keep our relationships open and to also, hopefully, with our kids and our family members.
Well, as personal as this can be, and I'll be as personal as I can, my brother's a cop, so is his wife. My brother is my hero and has been. He's my little brother, and he has always done the right thing. He is the best of humanity. Whether he was a cop or not, he is the best of humanity. I would hope someday you would meet him, but I would hate for somebody related to you to make an assumption based on your experiences if you saw my brother in uniform that he was something that he wasn't. There's got to be a way to fix that, because I'm sure that your family members are good people, and you wouldn't want my brother assuming anything about them, and I certainly wouldn't want your family members assuming something about my brother. There's got to be a way to bridge that where each side acknowledges some fault, but the changes in behavior have to be made, and it can't just be symbolic anymore.
Yeah, there it is. That's why we have these talks.
I love them.
Thanks. All right, I don't know what to talk about.
It's like therapy, right? It's like I feel cathartic now.
All right, we're done. My weekend's good. So,
Next week we'll bring you the couch.
Mike, thanks for joining me. Thank you guys out there for sticking along with this. I know it's a heavy topic, but this is what it's all about when Mike Broom and I have these kind of talks. So thank you.
Thank you.